time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by
PSE Archery, Yamaha Outboards, Better the Hunt, Easy Cut, Packer Max, Deer Camp Coffee, Buck Baits, JPO Game Calls, Limwalker Game Calls, Wild Seasoning, Total Peep, Sunrise Archery, Scent Lock, and Scent Blocker.
Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. I'm host Mike Adams, sitting in the cabin tonight on a Wednesday night instead of Thursday.
That's right.
It is the last show that we're going to do for July. Where's the year gone?
You know what? Yeah, we talk about this every year,
right?
And it's like I don't know if it's just because we're consistently doing shows. You know, it's just like all of a sudden here we are, end of July. And we're sitting here going,
it's nuts,
okay.
Man. It's crazy, but you know, I mean, we're less than 70 days of deer season now.
I know, right?
I mean, we're closing in, going under 60 now.
I know, it's amazing. So you know, what better way to talk about this is, you know, our guest is we're gonna talk hunting, but I think we need to talk about some of our sponsors because you might want to get over there to them so you can get your orders in for upcoming season. And
one of those is Buck Baits.
Absolutely, Buck Baits. I was at deer camp today. I brought you gifts.
Yes, you did.
From Buck Baits. Get on over, check Buck Baits out for your scents and stuff like that. If you want 20% off your order, go over there when you check out, use UNJ20 at buckbaits.com. I tell you what, I was watching YouTube. Sturgis was doing his plantings. Mm-hmm. We were looking at it. What better way? If you're thinking about getting your fall food plots in, check out Packer Max. And if you want $25 off your order there, give Lincoln a call, UNJ25, packermax.com. JPO Game Calls. We're getting close. You need that grunt tube. The Omni series. Great thing to look at. We're going to get him back on here in a few weeks to talk about the Omni series and the deer calls that he has. So if you want 10% off your order, go over there to jpogamecalls.com and get 10% off your order. Use the promo code UNJ10. I tell you, we are in the prime of barbecuing, and what better way is wild seasoning. Get over there, UNJ 2021, get 10% off your order when you check out at wildseasoning.com. And like I told you, I brought you gifts. I brought you coffee.
Yes, you did.
And if you want, get over there, check out deercampcoffee.com. You can get 10% off your order when you use the promo code UNJ10. And I brought you...
Actually, well, I want to brag a little bit about our own blend that we got here. You know, we're working with Deer Camp Coffee. We have our Up North Journal blends here. So we got the light, the medium roast, and the dark roast. So make sure if you go over to Deer Camp, the store or the website, ask for the UNJ coffee over there and tell them we sent you over. But you brought me today whole bean.
Whole bean. I brought you whole bean.
And this is Deerlicious Porter Brew medium roast. So,
you had the stout brew.
Yeah. That's what I got right now.
Yep. Now you got the porter brew.
Yeah, cold. This is cold brew.
Yep, it's cold brew, and you can check that out and enjoy that.
I'm becoming a coffee snob.
In your new mug.
That's right. I like that right there.
I know, right? So. And we would not be amiss if we went way up to Newberry. We went up there and we checked out the 72 degrees out in Newberry, where you can go to Cider's, have a pizza, and get some Deer Camp coffee up there.
That's right. I lost my live feed here.
You lost your live feed? Well, yeah. I got the live feed up right now, and I tell you what, it's a bit windy and it's looking really nice up. So
let me see if I can. There it is. Okay, here it is. We got to show them there.
I know, right?
So there big thanks to FM 123 that carries our show for us up there in Newberry. If you're up there, like Danny said, stop in at Cedars, grab you a pizza, grab you some Deer Camp coffee, and enjoy that nice weather that they're having up there right now.
72 degrees and sunny. Hope it stays that way, right?
Well, the storms will get out there tonight.
Right.
So, let's get into it tonight, man.
Yeah, let's get into it. One of our PSE teammates... We see him every year at the ATA show.
When we get to go. We didn't get to go last year.
I know, we didn't get to go, but we still stay in contact. And
Tim Andrus, how you doing, buddy? For Rush Outdoors.
Hello, Michigan.
Hey, New York. What's going on?
Well, I was listening to you guys there. Summer is flying by for us right here. I don't know about you guys.
Man, I tell you what, here in Michigan, we're bumping on almost 60 days till archery season. That doesn't seem possible.
No, I was shooting the bow this morning. We filmed 2 episodes this morning for the TV show, and it feels good. Feels good to be shooting the bow. I was really excited, thinking I was going to draw a tag for Wyoming Antelope. I go every other year, and Wyoming Game and Fish decided they wanted to cut the non-resident, or all the tags for antelope by like 3,000, I think. So I didn't draw. So I've got to wait now till South Dakota for mule deer.
When is that?
Around the 25th, 26th of October.
Okay. All right. So
I didn't draw Montana this year. It was a tough year, and the deer gods weren't great to me for drawing tags.
I guess not.
There's all kinds of speculation. Some say they cut back. I think a lot of guys got held back because of I hate the word now, COVID. When everything was locked down, people saved some money, and they want to go on a hunt. They want to have some fun. Things are opening back up, hopefully.
I tell you what, I don't know about you and your, you have one of your sponsors running stores over there. I don't know about you, but we've been in the Cabela's, and I was at Bass Pro last night, matter of fact. But man, I tell you, the place is crawling with people wanting to do. If it's not fishing, they're at the gun counter wanting to buy something to shoot.
And ammo is still tough to find.
You know what? That we won't even go there because that is like finding gold. That's almost finding like plywood. Okay.
Don't get me started.
Yeah,
on
I
that
had someone asked me how I'm set, and it started a year ago, April, when I started noticing people were getting a little, buying a lot. So last fall when I was out west, anytime I saw a box of rifle ammo for my Creedmoor, I bought a box, and I've got 7 boxes of shells, so I'm good.
So you're ready to...
I got arrows.
You're ready to put some meat in the freezer then?
Yes, sir.
Gotta like
yes,
that.
sir. Had some on the grill today, matter of fact.
What do you think the reason is for Wyoming cutting back on antelope tags? I mean, are they worried?
They said they had a fawn mortality, and then I read their numbers were down, but my gosh, where I was 2 years ago, the place is loaded. At one time I had probably 50, 60 antelope within a 50-yard circle of my blind.
Wow.
And I couldn't shoot because I was afraid of blowing through one to the other one.
You know what? I think I remember that episode because if I remember right, I think you had a discussion. You had to wait, and you were like, it was like you had so many around you that you just needed to wait. And it's one of those things, like you said, when you're shooting that close between animals, you don't need to puncture 2 of them.
No, not at all. The year I used to go every other year. The first time I shot my first one, it was like 10 o'clock on the first day. The last time it was 2 o'clock. Now my friend owns a ranch there. His buddy Karen was with them. She was getting the sightseeing tour, and Dan kept on, looking down at his phone. She goes, expecting a hot date. He goes, I can't believe Tim hasn't texted me. And it wasn't like because I wasn't seeing anything. I just couldn't do anything. That many antelope on me. So I don't understand how that goes. I don't want to get all in the politics at all. But it is what it is. You're gonna make do with it.
Yep.
And then when I didn't draw Montana for my rifle hunt, I have a great place to hunt there. I was like, you have to scramble. So I'm not sure if you know, in South Dakota, it's split pretty much down the middle, the Missouri River. Mm-hmm. And they have what they call a West River tag and an East River tag on archery and for rifle. And you can purchase a East River, West River archery tag. You can separately archery. So I've got one of each. So I'm going to be doing good 2 weeks in South Dakota.
Kind of like that.
At the end of October.
Yeah, I'm going to go just north of Phillip, where the Badlands is there, about an hour and a half north of Phillip. Well, not hour and a half north of Badland Park for mule deer, where I shot that one last year. And then I leave there and go to Wyoming and hunt north of Hewlett, where I have for the last year 7, I think. Yeah.
Cool.
And then I go back to South Dakota, and then I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might plan one more hunt later on. But the last couple of years, I've been on the road 30, 35 days. And day 30 comes, and you're wore out.
Well, they call it a sport, but it takes a mental toll on you. You're out there day in, day out in the weather, or you're traveling, and I don't care. It's the mental aspect of it is a huge one when you're trying to outsmart them because it's hunting, it's not catching.
And you want to be, that believe it or not, it's nice to wake up in your own bed and sit on your own couch and have a cup of coffee in the morning and think, what am I going to do today? I'm going to take a break.
Yeah, just sit back, take it easy.
And I try to keep it fun because Karen goes with me. I mean, she retired to be a year and a half, 2 years now. So between each hunt, or after each hunt, I would plan a day or two of just nothing. We'll pick a place, and I said I'll let her go, do whatever she wants to go see something. Because, I mean, she gets cooped up whether she's sitting in an Airbnb or a cabin or a hotel room. I mean, she doesn't go out because it was a cold winter or a cold fall last year for hunting for me. A lot of bad weather. The first hunt in Montana, third Saturday was their opening day of rifle, and the wind chill was 8 below.
Ooh, been there, done that. That takes a lot out of you. I mean, it's just whether you're sitting there with a cold rifle or you're sitting there with your bow and trying not to.
And I was
move.
in a pop-up blind in an alfalfa field. And the good news is I only hunted an hour and 20 minutes. The deer were on their feet early. It was coming down hard, and believe it, I had a hard time figuring out who was who with the snow coming down and blowing. And then it let up, and I'd seen a really bigger one 2 nights prior, just glassing, and you don't know what the weather's going to do. And I'm like, this buck looks beautiful where he is, and I'm like, you know what? Boom, and it was over.
It's over. Speaking of that, you talked about archery, being on Team PSE with us. What are you shooting this year?
I am shooting the EVL 34.
Nice. How you liking it?
Love it. Love it. I was just shooting this morning, matter of fact.
Easy setup, isn't it?
It's, yeah. We did an episode from them this morning with a lot of our Fairdyne products. We had the Black Target and the Glendale. And I was shooting it today, and it's such a forgiving bow. The brace height is, I forget the number on what it is, but it's forgiving. It shoots great. I mean, all their bows. I mean, it doesn't matter when I've had the 35, the Evo 35, the Expedite. I mean, I've got the NXT, whatever is there. I mean, they're all good shoot bows.
Yep. Mike is shooting the 32, and I'm shooting the 34. So that's what we're going to be shooting here. We're going to go get them set up here. We got a couple of shoots coming up towards the end of the month, some 3D shoots we'd like to get to. But like you said, I mean, those bows shoot smooth. Last year, Mike, it was in my memories for Facebook. When we went out last year, we set up our bows. And
went out and set them up and went out and shot a 3D course.
They were that easy,
almost out of the box.
It's just PSE is so easy.
Yeah, no doubt. It's they're a great company to deal with. If I ever have any questions or anything, phone call away and it gets taken care of.
Absolutely, it's awesome. But that's awesome.
Great.
It is. I got a question for you from Mark Coleman. Yes. Mark Coleman, who obviously we get to catch him on a good night.
That's right.
So, Tim, what do you do when you are on the hunting spree and you or your hunting partner wake up feeling under the weather? Time is money. Do you still go out?
I have a perfect example. One of my wood times in Montana. We had gone out and got in there, and the season was already open, and we wanted to glass the river bottoms from up high where the deer were coming out. So we went to this truck stop outside of Miles City, Montana, and I got everything omelet because I knew we were going to spend the whole afternoon out there. We're going to sit in the truck. We're not going to move. We're just going to glass, get set up for the next day. And I started getting sick. I started not feeling right. And we got through the night, got back to the hotel, and I woke up in the middle of the night. Was just Montezuma's revenge, man. It just was terrible. And I got up that morning with like the water pouring off me and tried to go out and was just struggling. Came back and stayed in the bed for 2 days, and I'm like, I can't do this. Couldn't eat anything, couldn't keep anything down. And went back out in a snowstorm, shot my buck, and we drove to the hospital in Miles City. So we get there, and they don't have a doctor stays there. They had to call it. They have an emergency room. They got to call a doctor, and then this is back a while ago. And this big cowboy walks in, and he looks at me, and I still have blood under my fingernails from gutting the deer. The deer is steaming in the back of the truck, and he walks in, and he goes, "Is that your deer back there?" I'm like, "It is." And I had food poisoning.
Wow.
And
really?
I was pretty sick. I was dehydrated. They had to put an IV in me and get some fluid back into me. And it took a hard time to get back to it. So, yes, I don't recommend it after going through it because it was tough. I should have went to the hospital earlier. I waited. And, when it's hunting season, you want to go. And it doesn't even have to be hunting season. This year, I was speaking at a Whitetails Unlimited dinner in Pennsylvania. And the night before, Karen and I went out to dinner, and they have this bruschetta they always have for an appetizer, so we got it. Well, when it came, there was meat on top of it, and the girl goes, "Oh, I didn't tell you it was salmon bruschetta. It was raw, like a salmon belly, like on top." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." Well, I was eating it, and it was kind of tough. Like it'd been sitting out for a while. Karen wouldn't eat it, and then so Dummy did. And the next day, not only was it a dinner that I had to do, during the day there was a small little show there. I was doing seminars. I had 3 seminars on a Saturday. I had a 10, a 2, and a 4. Then I'd go right into the dinner, and I got
oof.
And I got up. I mean, my poor body had been run through a ringer. Had gone in, got it to a Walmart, and bought, I forget the name of it is now, for everything. It basically locks. It's like not Pepto-Bismol. But I took like double the dose, which wasn't smart. Don't recommend that. But I stopped being sick, and I went and did my seminar. The one seminar, the girl could see I was not feeling good, and I said, I think I have food poisoning. Went back to the hotel room and laid down and slept it's only about a 10-minute ride. Slept an hour and a half, got up, felt a little bit better, ate a couple of saltine crackers, a little bit of water, held it down. Went back and did my 2 seminars and did the dinner, and about 9 o'clock at night I had some food that was left over there and bounced back. It wasn't a bad case, but it was enough that it was rough.
Speaking of that, you're talking about food poisoning. Lately, a friend of ours, and Mark Coleman says, sorry to bring up bad memories.
Right?
It's fine. I got the sun, trying to get the glare off here. I'm trying to get the sun setting right here on the lake right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Well, you're not going to be able to see out the window there.
We can see it shining on
the lake.
you.
We can see it shining on you. Have you run into issues with ticks?
Thankfully, no. Knock on wood. I see T-Bone, Travis Turner from Bone Collector.
Yeah.
That's one of the examples I was referring to. That he was ended up in the hospital, and he couldn't do one of the events.
Yeah, I texted him that night when I saw it on Facebook. I texted him, and we were going back and forth. He said it's all good, and there's no joke. I've only had one bad time with ticks, and that was down in Missouri, turkey hunting years ago. And I'd had the stuff you sprayed on the pant legs, and I had the boots and all that, and thought everything was good. And came in from the hunt, was hopping in the shower, and I'm like, what the heck? I had like 3 of them on me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the only bad time I've had.
Yeah.
How was it there in Michigan?
Well, T-Bone had it. A friend of ours, Josh Blosser in Wisconsin, who's a professional walleye fisherman, he was out the day before the tournament in Wisconsin, and all of a sudden he kind of couldn't do it. He could not even reel in his rod, and he's like, I got to go to the hospital. And they kind of tracked it back to a tick bite. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. And he made it back. They got him antibiotics, so he made it strong enough to fish in the tournament. But I just wanted to, because I know you're going all around like that, but here in Michigan, yeah, they're bad. We
had a real bad summer.
Yeah, a friend of ours up north, she walked through a field. She had like 20 of them on her. Mm. So, it's just one of those things. You just got to be cognizant of it. We always tell everybody, check.
We have enough problems in the world. We need ticks. Don't need ticks too.
I know, right?
Right.
So we're coming up on our first break. When we come back, we'll continue our talk with Tim and see how his TV show's doing.
All right, we're going to take a step outside. We'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has reinvented the way you buy bows.
From now on, you can make the most educated decision possible
by basing your bow choice specifically on your shooting needs and goals.
All you need to do is ask yourself, what kind of shooter am I? What do I want to achieve?
PSE will help find the right category for you.
So, what kind of shooter are you?
Find out at psearchery.com.
Welcome back, second segment of the show. We're sitting here talking about hunting. We're talking about things that ail us out in the woods, and ticks and food poisoning and all kinds of stuff. There's nothing worse than being sick or under the weather when you're out hunting or fishing. But I want to take a quick step back on that about staying in. Have you ever let weather keep you in? I mean, because you're on time crunch, you've got to get these shows knocked out. If it's just pouring down rain, you just call it a day and just stay in.
If I'm in a blind, it all depends on what kind of hunt I'm doing too. If I'm going to be in a blind, because first off, cameras and rain don't mix.
Right.
So I'm not going to fry my camera. But if I'm in a blind, I have a backpack going there. And if it's a soft rain, even when I'm turkey hunting, I like a soft rain, especially when it stops.
Mm-hmm.
Bow hunting can be tough if you got a heavy range. If you have the blood trail, you could, it makes it tough.
Right.
Snow doesn't bother me. But yeah, I've been snowed in. I think I had this talk at a seminar I was doing. I think I've been snowed in 7 times on hunts over the years.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that weather gets you. And speaking of events, we were talking earlier about event. You got one coming up this Saturday at the Kinzuwa Deer Camp?
Yeah, Kinzuwa. Yeah, it's a little town in northern Pennsylvania for Whitetails Unlimited. Clyde D. Hart puts it on. It's a great. I do a lot of them. I have a great bunch of fun with them people. I mean, supporting Second Amendment rights. They're out there having fun, talking deer hunting, talking any kind of hunting, and you get a chance to win a gun.
There you go. So anybody out in Pennsylvania, if there's tickets still available, this Saturday you can get tickets.
Yes. There's going to be some walk-ins available at 4:00 at the Y Bar. Makes me think I'm out west, but I'm in Pennsylvania.
There you go. So yeah, if you want, if you're on Facebook, you can check it out at Tim's page there, and if you're in Pennsylvania, go see him this Saturday night.
Wait, we got a question here from Mark again. He said, want to know how many years have you been living his dream, out filming hunts and doing things? You're into what, your 11th season, 10th season?
For Rush Outdoors, season 10 is going to run this October 1. It starts.
Okay.
Prior to that, I was doing stuff with Wolf Creek Productions out of Michigan with Steve Gruber and Mark Millis for Deer City USA, Outdoor America. And then prior to that, I did some stuff with the Realtree. I've been with Realtree. This is my 25th year under contract with them. Up until 3 years ago, I was doing, as Mark would say, living the dream, totally blessed. There's no other way to put it. I also had a regular job.
That's the struggle you face with that. When you have the regular job, you're kind of juggling. And besides Rush Outdoors, you've also got a couple other ones, Fresh Uncut and The World of Rush Outdoors. We have the website up at www.rush.
Rush Uncut's a segment of the show of the Rush Outdoors and World of Rush Outdoors that it's like a section for like the amateur videographers that I don't care if you show your son catching or daughter catching their first fish, or shooting a squirrel, or you shooting a turkey, or guys getting out there filming each other's hunt. You join the club and you send it into our editor, Brian. He cleans it up, and we usually air 1 or 2 hunts or fishing things episodes.
So there you go. If you go on over to rushoutdoors.com, you can check out the different things they got over there. It's a great website to go check out. And plus, if you scroll down, you can follow up. He's got...
If you scroll down, you'll see season 9, 8, and 7. You can watch it right there.
Yep, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Go on over season from 5 through 9 right there at one click away, and you can see in the video their little teaser video from 2019. You can see Tim himself walking up on a buck. So
I'm trying to think which one that was now. It's pretty embarrassing. I haven't been to our website a little bit.
Well, I'm showing it.
I take that back. I did say about a couple months ago, I said we need to go. We're going to go through some updates, do a little straighten things up there. People change people's bios and stuff like that. It's always good to do that.
It's better than Netflix. Way better than Netflix.
It is way better than Netflix, no doubt about it. But yeah, get over there to Rush Outdoors. Check that out. You can check them out on Facebook as well. But I just wanted to show that for everybody to go over there, get some swag as well. But yeah, it's 25 years you've been with Realtree. It's been, you're living the dream now full time. You finally retired. You're doing it. What so far? Well, lately you've been out on the charters catching some fish.
Yeah, I had one last week. I had the girls from Fairdyne, Terry Quinn, the marketing director of Fairdyne. Fairdyne's like the mother company with the overseas Rage, Muzzy, IQ, Carbon Express, Block, Glendale. They have everybody under it. So I had, and Covert Cameras. So I had Terry Quinn, marketing director, and Kimber Odell, who's from under the Covert brand. They came out and we went fishing out of Henderson Harbor Friday morning and got into them really good. By 3 hours, we put in 10 Lakers and 1 brown trout in the box. 4 of the Lakers were over 15 pounds. 1 just about hit 20 pounds. It was a great morning. Great morning.
Yeah, we're going through those pictures right now, and I tell you what, nothing puts a smile on your face than a fresh caught fish. I tell you what. And then we got a picture of all you at the dock with your fish all loaded up there on the rack.
Moby Dick Charters. If you're out in Henderson Harbor, he's booked up He's already booked for this year. Going to next. He's been doing it 30 some years. Super guy. Him and his son Tony. They're when you mentioned Rush Uncut, Moby Dick is title sponsor, is like a sponsor of that. He has like a little clip we're going to have on that for going into season 10.
That's awesome. So if you're ever out there, out in the New York area, if you're listening to the show, get on over there, check it out, find out what's going on over there, and tell you what.
Well, him being from New York, he's up in the cold country, kind of like we are. You do some fishing. I know when hunting season's over, you ever do any ice fishing?
Yes, we went. I went once this year, and you want to hear a good story? This is a good one. I hope your viewers got the night to hear the story. We fish over to the east of us in Wayne County, who's one of our sponsors, is our closed caption sponsor of the show. And it's a place called Sodus Bay. Fantastic fishing, whether you're going through the ice or on a boat or off the shore. So we went ice fishing perch. And my one buddy, John Lawrence, who's on the show there, is fanatic on ice fishing. And so it's about a 2-hour drive almost. So we get there right about 6 o'clock when the bait shop opens. The last half hour was a white knuckle ride through snow and everything else. We buy our bait. We bought more bait than we needed for probably all of us to go. But we figured we're going to get into them, so we're going to be ready. And his truck had a quad on it, and he has a homemade sled he made to pull out 2 fishing huts. There's 3 of us. And so we unload the quad, it's sitting there running, pop, 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 and it died. So he goes to start it, battery's dead.
No.
Hey, so we need to jump. So we take the thing up to jump it. Well, the jumper cables can't get on the battery because the bracket's in the way. So I go to my truck, get my little toolbox. Guess what? The garage. And John doesn't have his. He has everything but what we need. So a guy comes over, has a wrong size socket, but I put a piece of cloth over the nut to make it tight, push it on there, cranked off one side, the other side wouldn't get off. So we had to bend the bracket up to get the jumper cables on. Got it started, boom, boom, we're ready to go. So now we got to put everything back together, load up the sled, and I said, our editor Brian was fishing with us, and I said, you guys go ahead, we're going about a mile out. I said, I'll just follow the tracks because I'm not going to see where you are with the snow coming down. Just come back and get me whenever you get the tent set up. I'm just going to do a slow walk, So they leave, and I start trudging down there walking, and as the snow would blow, then it would let up, and I could see they're sitting there. I go, are they waiting for me? They really think I'm going to get lost? Well, then I see stuff coming off the sled. I'm like, what are they doing? So I get up there. Well, there was a soft spot. You know how that happens.
Yeah.
And it was just on top. Well, it was soft spot, then it refroze, but it made a ridge. So that sled was going, and it didn't slide out of that hole. The one ski caught, wouldn't budge. Of course, the quad's running. The sled fell apart.
Oh, no.
There's no other way to put it. The wheels fell off. It was terrible.
Oh, man.
So we had the bigger fish hut we put on the bottom and stacked everything on it, bungee cords and straps, and we dragged it across the ice. We are not giving up. We are still going to go. We're going to get fishing.
They had all that bait bought. They're going to fish.
Right?
Yeah. So we get the holes dug, got the tent set up, get the rods on there, and they're still in there talking whatever, and I've got a double 2 minnows on there, boop, I'm down the hole, around 30 foot of water, I'm boom, fish on, and then John started, and we're like, yeah. And Brian, our editor's in the other one, he's like the filming Nazi, and he yells over, hey, you better have them cameras running. I'm like, you're right. So we have the GoPros, and I have the GoPro. I forget the newest one is there. I have it on the stick. I stick it right down the hole to show that when the fish comes up, pretty cool looking. Well, I've got mine already on there. John has got his knee, sitting like this. He's got the camera on there, and he's farting around. And he moved, and I heard kapunk. I look at him. Like, what was that? He goes, my GoPro's 30 foot down on the bottom of the Sodus Bay. Yeah.
That went far.
3 weeks old or 3 months old, whatever it was. It still hurt.
Oh,
so
man.
we got he wasn't too happy, but it is what it is. So we started fishing, and then if you were looking on my Facebook there, we got into him pretty quick there. We were cooking. He was cooking breakfast in the hut, and we're having venison breakfast sausage, and we got eggs, and we've got pancakes. And if there's one picture on my thing, I got the plate in my lap, and I'm reeling the fish. And finally, I see he goes, "Are you gonna put your rod down?" I go, "I'm not stopping. I want perch fillets in the freezer."
Oh my god!
I tell you what, that is something.
Some of the funnest times you have is out on the ice, and whether you're catching fish or not. There's always a story. Always a story.
It was, and this year the fish weren't the big, like later in the season, you get the big females that move in there, and we didn't get it. We were averaging like the ones around 10 inches. They were still good eaters and all that, but we didn't get into really big ones, unfortunately. Some friends went a week later and they did a little bit better. I forget how many fish we ended up keeping. I think we kept maybe 30 for the three of us, yeah. And the minnows, John didn't go. He left them in his garage, and it's not heated, but it's connected to his house. He kept the minnows in there, and he went like 10 days later, and the minnows were still fine. He used the same minnows.
Oh, that's awesome.
Can you believe that?
So you got your money's worth out of the minnows.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
That's good. Like you said, there's always a story. And in being out in the outdoors kind of guy, whether it's a fishing story, you gotta explain the story of you and this fawn that you posted about.
Yeah, that was a heartbreaker. It was about this time of the night. And my neighbor to the west of me, I was, he knocked on the door and he goes, "We got a problem." I'm like, "Got a problem?" And like I said, I live on the lake, and where his is, we have a cement wall, and it's probably about a 7-8 foot drop, and there's about this much shoreline, and the water's lapping in there. The water's still high; it's going down now. And he goes, "There's a deer on the shoreline." And I go, "What?" He goes, "I don't know what to do." He goes, "I came and got you." So I went over there, and it was a fawn. So I climbed down there, got to where, and it was trying to get up, and it started blatting. And I could see it had a wound on its hind leg, nothing bad. And so I picked it up, and I thought maybe it was just confused. But the water was starting. A storm was coming in there, and the waves were starting to lift. Matter of fact, my feet got wet getting him or her off the water. So I get up in the yard and I put her down, and it can stand, but it's holding the one leg up. And I'm looking at it, I go, there's a rehab. I go, "Where's the mom?" I mean, it could be anywhere. And over on that side, it's open, and there's nothing there. And I think it had been there for a while. I don't know if it got in the lake and came down. So I came inside, and they called the New York State, like the Game and Fish there. There was a rehab person only like 40 miles away. So she said, "Take a picture. I want to see the wound on the deer." So I took a picture, and she said, "Bring her on up." So we drove up. I wish I had taken a picture of it. Karen was in the back seat with the fawn next to her, just like a dog would be, just sitting there. That picture, when I'm holding it, it nuzzled under me, and I'm like, I can't do this for long. Got a soft spot here. So we get there, and she looks it over, and I said, "Any chance I can look at your other fawns?" And she said, "I try not to have that happen because the fawns know just my voice. I don't want them to get used to other people." I'm like, "I get it." She said, "I'll let you look in this next corral." And oh my God, were they cute. She had 28 fawn. It's called Fuzzy Fawn on Instagram. Fuzzy Fawn Wildlife. So I tried to make a donation. She said, "I'm good." I'm like, "You got a beautiful place there." She has like 220,000 followers on Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah, Fuzzy Fawn Wildlife. Great woman. Doesn't get paid. It's like she said, it's the best non-paying job she's ever had.
But I saw you posted that, and I said, I got to hear the story on this one, because that is just, it's one of those things. Not every day do you see a person holding a fawn that's,
Oh, my God. It's so cute. And at first she was blatting, like she was scared, and then she calmed down, and then I had her in the garage, and we got ready to go. And then when I sent her a picture, in my garage, we can see the background here, I've got 6 shoulder mounts in the garage. So I took a picture of her there, and the lady goes, "Well, if that didn't scare her, nothing will." I didn't realize that we have all the mounts against the wall there.
Oh, that's funny. And they say that we're cruel and evil and cold-hearted, us hunters, but it just goes to show.
Hunters are the biggest conservationists there are.
Absolutely, we put more money back into the outdoors than any other group there is, I think.
Absolutely.
Well, I tell you what, we're bumping up here on our next break, so let's go ahead. We'll take our second break. We come back, we'll continue the conversation.
I drank my water early then.
There you go. That's all right.
Got it.
All right, we'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Welcome back, third segment of the show. If you haven't watched the live stream, if you guys on the podcast, you got to watch, because during the commercial break we cover a lot of ground. And actually, I got a question here that actually came out of what we were talking about, and it's on trapping. One of our viewers here, Mark, asked, trapping's awesome, so he must be on run his own trap line as well. I did up until about 5 years ago. But he says, how long was your line, and what was you after? What were you pursuing? Coon, fox, coyotes?
Basically coon and muskrats, and this is back 30 years ago when I did. But I loved it. My buddy and I, we were like addicted to the Fur Fishing Game magazine, watching Tom Miranda.
Right.
But we mainly did coon and fox were really big then. Were a big ticket item. But it is something, and it doesn't happen. We have. One of our guys in Jersey still traps, and we do a little segment on the TV show on trapping. And then my other buddy, John Lawrence, who's on the show, lives about where I do. I did a food plot with him not too long ago. He's taking his trapping license. He's going to do it with his son.
Okay. Well, that's another great aspect of being in the outdoors, right? Look at that. He's going to take his son, do some trapping, something to do in the outdoors.
Him and his daughter, they go everywhere with them in the woods.
Yep.
Everywhere.
You get those kids out there, get them outside.
They are 100%. He sent me a picture yesterday or 2 days ago. Sophia shot a woodchuck in their garden. She's 9 years old.
Didn't have a chance.
Boomer X air rifle.
Get them started. It's funny. We talk about trapping. This wasn't planned. This question kind of came up, and just so happens I've got the Fur Harvesters Auction price guide for the fur sale. The results from July 19th through the 23rd. In U.S. dollars, and I was actually shocked at some of the prices here. I won't take up too much time on this, but muskrat averaged $5 a pelt. Red fox averaged $4.76 a pelt. That's for the central red fox. A western brought $11, a northern brought $10, easterns brought almost $15 average. But I don't understand what the big difference is between those different areas unless it's just the thickness and quality of the fur. But $4.76.
The guard hairs, maybe. And it's funny, the eastern being higher than the western.
Yeah.
That one kind of shocked me. When I was trapping, reds were getting $50-$60 a piece.
Yeah, I remember those days.
I was shocked when you said the muskrat price is $5 a piece.
Yeah, that was high, I thought, especially everything being done.
I mean, mind you, my buddy and I started this when we were in high school. And we ran probably, for the rats, 30 conibears. My favorite set, we got it off Fur Fishing Game. That was like the Bible.
Right.
We had like a 2x12 that we'd scuffed out in the middle there and put down like a 2-1 jumps in there and put some apples on it, slid it out into this one pond. It was the best.
It was money, huh?
We went so far. I think some of the times we had on the trap line. Now, mind you, we would do this before school. He was 3 blocks away. I lived on the edge of town. I'd go to his house and we'd get on his dirt bike and we'd ride out and we'd check our traps. And if we had to know how the morning was going, we'd sometimes reset them. Sometimes we would just say we'd come back. We'd come back there, lay the animals out in the basement, kind of brush out if there's any mud on it, that so they dry. Go home, shower, go to school, come back out, and one would sit and do the skinning, and one would go out and reset the traps. Sometimes we did, depending on what we had. But coons back then were getting $20-$25 a piece. We were the 1 year we averaged 4 coons a day for 10 days straight.
That's good money back then. That's big money.
Big money.
Especially compared to now.
We were going to be on the cover for a fishing game.
Right? That's just something you don't see anymore.
So, Mark,
with these kids.
That trapping is a lot of people look at it, badly. It's something that needs to be done, like hunting. You've got to keep the animals in check. And all the outdoorsmen, whatever, you should never bash another group because we're all in this together. That's my opinion.
Well, Mike and I have always said our own worst enemy is each other because we seem to throw sand in each other's faces in our own sandbox. Would you guys just stop it?
Can't play together.
It's almost sometimes when you get into that crossbow bow thing and
my gosh,
right?
And they are we're all hunters.
Right, exactly.
Have fun. If you could use a slingshot, I'd use it.
Right.
It was legal.
Yeah. In the trapping, what better way to get kids started out? They just don't do it anymore. They're too busy playing on their phones.
Normally see. You get to see things. You get to see the sunrise. It's like deer hunting. You get to see stuff that most people will never experience.
Exactly. Mark Coleman does say he was trapping early 80s when he was 13 and 14. The red fox was 100, grays were 65, coons were 15 to 30, and that was the 80s. So
yeah, I was 81 to 84 4. Muskrats were around $6 a piece here. That's why when he said 5, I was like, holy cow.
Yeah, they said there was a high demand this year for muskrat, which kind of shocks me. I don't know what they're using them for, but hey, more power to them.
Collars, I think the collars and the I don't know. I always wanted to go to one of those trapping conventions too.
I've been to one.
Just to see it.
I went to the National. It was in Escanaba, Michigan. And that matter of fact, that just popped up on my feed this week.
I've been to Escanaba. That's a cool area.
It is. It's a great area to be in. But we went up there for that just on a whim, and it's pretty cool. If you've never been to a trapping convention, you're here in the Midwest because they're normally, either in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota, or Wisconsin, Michigan. Go to them. I mean, it's something that if you've never been, it's worth going to at least once.
Absolutely. It's just it's when I do seminars. I travel all over the country doing seminars at these outdoor expos, and one of the most popular ones is using the do's and don'ts of running a trail camera, and because everybody owns a trail camera these days, and
except people in Arizona.
What's that?
Except people in Arizona now.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in just a minute, but continue
on. So there's so many things you can do with a trail camera, and even if you're not a hunter, you're going to get pictures of wildlife. I mean, and then a lot of people think they're just for deer. I've got friends that use them for elk. They use them for turkey. I have one friend who does a lot of out here. We have like ponds where they were digging the parkway that runs along the lake here, and there's like 1 and 3 acre ponds. They needed the topsoil. They needed soil for the fill, and great waterfowl hunting. Well, he does, on the bottom of every trail camera's got I think a 1/4-20 hole.
Mm-hmm.
He takes stakes, drills it out, puts a piece of thread around there, glues it in there, goes out into the water with his waders and puts it about this far off the water's edge and faces or whatever way like that. He has one to the right, one to the left, and he gets pictures of them coming in. He has one sometimes on video, sometimes he has he knows what times they're lighting on the pond, what time they're leaving. And then he gets cool pictures when they're going, a wood duck swim by, or a mallard, or a shovel, or whatever is going to be swim by. And it's a scouting technique for him for waterfowl.
And there's so many versatile uses for a game camera itself. And now that you got the cellular ones, you can sit at home and watch them come in. And it's just one of those things.
One of our geese, Keith Bartholomew, one of our pro staffers, he's a deer killing machine, has a lease in Kentucky, 9.5, 10 hours away, wireless. That's Scout.
Yep, I'm testing one out right now, and it's sitting in the UP, and it's sending me pictures 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. It ships them to me, and it's it's cool.
Where I'm at right here, it doesn't, because I'm literally 30 yards from the Lake of Ontario. My closest neighbor to the north is Ontario, Canada, about 30 miles. And cell service is, here we are 2021, and cell service is spotty. So a wireless one that I've had before where I hunt, that'll keep searching, and it just drains the battery down. You'll get like a week, and it's dead.
Really?
So I went back to using the basic ones, because they're towers that searches that goes on roam over there. And I've called give me my cell phone. My cell phone, I got to be on Wi-Fi assist in the house here.
Oh, yeah, I get that now that you mentioned it.
It's like the UP.
Well, when I go down and when we head towards Detroit or get close to Detroit, my phone will start to jump if I get close enough to the river itself, because just across the river's winds are there. But
we'll be sitting here at night watching TV. My phone will ding, and I'll look at it, and it's from Verizon. Welcome to Canada. I'm like, I'm right here.
Karen's like, where are you going?
We got that. The same thing happened to us. We were out paddling. We went to Turnip Rock this last week. And we're, Port Austin, which is at the tip of the thumb here in Michigan, which is not near Canada. But all of a sudden, Nancy's phone started saying, welcome to Canada. And I'm like, we're 50, 60 miles away, but it must be the way the cell tower was arranged because of the water. I don't know. But for whatever reason, it picked up Canada. That's crazy.
So what do you want to know about trail cameras in Arizona? What do you want to talk about?
So we got to get your opinion, because you've been out west hunting, and I'm probably about 100% guaranteed the people you work with out there use trail cameras to kind of let you know what's out there. But so in Arizona, they started banning them because one of the reasons they said was the conflict between hunters over trail cameras. Interesting, I thought. But your take on that banning cameras because of such things like hunter interactions between, what's your take on that?
Well, I don't sometimes understand that kind of whole stuff. I mean, certain states like Montana, you cannot run a trail camera during the hunting season. You can use it up prior to I think their archery is September 1. And I get that. I get, some of the terminology they're using is that they say, like, say you have your wireless, right? So you say you're up in the UP and you're turkey hunting. I don't think I have turkeys in the UP. I'm pretty sure they do. But
they do.
You're up there turkey hunting, right? And your phone goes off, and you look, and out in the field where your camera is, there's a longbeard. You can work your way over and get that longbeard. That's what they're saying. That's their reasoning, that it makes it unfair. They use the same thing with like flying. Like in Alaska, the day you fly into Alaska to bear camp or to hunt Dall sheep or whatever, you cannot hunt that day. Because if you're flying in and you look down and you see a 60-inch bull moose standing, 2 miles from your cabin, he's off limits to the next day. But I sometimes, I don't know. I don't understand.
So they say it violates fair chase, and it also, they say it threatens the future of the sport. Kind of wordy.
Well, I mean, believe it or not, there's guys out there, old school and young school hunters, and everybody's got opinions. I mean, everybody's got their own idea, the way they were raised, the way they were hunting. Michigan, perfect example. New York State, I can't put out any kind of bait. I can have a food plot. Michigan, you can have, it used to be a lot. Now you got to have, I think, a 5-gallon bucket or whatever for your bait. Ohio, you can bait. I mean, there's all these different states. And then you've got some states down south where they run deer with dogs. Like we do beagles for rabbits. They run deer, though. It's a tradition. It's the area. It's the whatever the area is. And so people bash it. I remember when New York State, we only can hunt crossbow the last 2 weeks archery season. And the New York State bow hunters are a strong group, and they're fighting hard. And you got the crossbow guys, and I get asked this all the time. And people get pretty wound up over it. And I don't want to get in the middle of it. I go, listen, we're all hunters. We're all hunters. We have to stick together. Like I said earlier, if you can use a slingshot and it was legal, I would use it. I'd have to get a slingshot sponsor. But the point I was going to say is when longbow hunters were having it, when compound bows came out, older guys, I know the hunting industry went crazy. Compound bows, oh my God, they're going to shoot all the deer. Blah, 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 blah. Well, in Ohio, crossbow's been legal for I don't know how long. And they shoot probably 8. All the guys in Ohio are going to hate me for that. They probably shoot 8 deer over 200 inches every year minimum in Ohio. It's not the caliber of the whatever hunting you're using. It's the game practices, how your DNR, game and fish set the seasons, in my opinion, on how your deer herd's going to go. Because a lot of states you can shoot one buck. You shoot your one buck, whether it's bow or gun, rifle, muzzle, or whatever, you're done. Right. So if you're looking for a big one, you're going to be picky. Gives a chance for the deer to grow. That's Ohio. Kansas is that way. A lot of them. New York, we can shoot a couple bucks. I'm not sure what Michigan is.
Two. You can shoot 2 bucks, depending on where you are in the state. Your first buck could be anything over 3 inches. Your second buck might be a 3-point on one side or a 4-point on one side for your second buck.
Okay.
It's or you can use both tags for does.
Yeah.
So and that's one of the other things is just wondering, because when you go out and you've been out there and everybody's starting to use these things, I think you're right that really how they present it really hurts them. Hey, we're having conflict of hunters. Okay, I get it. But could you kind of at least give me some data where you got this? Because you telling me we have conflict between hunters over game cameras, it's kind of wishy-washy. I don't see it.
Well, a lot of it, what I was reading on it is like it's a lot of public land out there, or federal land they're hunting on. So there's a water hole, and a water hole will have 10 trail cameras on it. Can you imagine that, going up there and you got you got all these trail cameras sitting on the same water hole?
Well, that's it, right? So
I mean, that's
and there's some aspects now that's public land. Now you got to get into is it public, private? Well, in this case, they just did it across the board. There's a lot of people upset that, hey, I want to use a camera on my private land. So
well, another thing, and it's different, and I get it to the guys that I've talked to. I've been going out west for 20-some years, or at least probably 23, 25 years, and non-residents in certain areas are frowned upon.
You think?
Because a lot of them come in there, a lot of guys come in there and lease up ground and blah, blah, blah. But the other businesses look at it, they bring revenue.
Yep.
And then if you're hunting public land, it's, you say you live in South Dakota, and I'm coming from out east, drive to South Dakota for early archery, for mule deer and all that. They got to be so crazy that they fought. And I'm not sure how the works. I hunt private land out there. if you buy an over-the-counter archery tag, like a West River tag in South Dakota, the first 2 weeks go to residents. Non-resident can't hunt on public land. It's passed 2 years ago now, which is kind of, I get it, but I also look at it, and I'm not going to get an argument. It's federal land. It's all our land, so I don't know.
Right? Well, that's the thing. I just want to just ask your opinion, because you kind of bounce around different states and get these different opinions, and now this came out just this year, so it's going to be enacted for this year, I think, coming up fall.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things. It's so okay. Now you got to deal with it. I think that just the way they went about it was kind of, they weren't presenting data as much as they were just saying this happens and this happens.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the right word is. It's just a lot of infight, and I hate seeing it. And then politics get involved, and then it gets really.
And what does that all boil down to? Money.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, the tag that we mentioned Montana earlier, and I think it's still that way. You cannot use, like, I use nocturnal, lighted nock. For filming, you can see where the arrow, if you're filming or not, you're going to see where the arrow's going. If you make the shot, it's for your video, and you can review your footage. You can find your arrow, smell your arrow. Does it have the smell of guts on it? Is it, dark red like a liver shot or whatever? They're illegal in Montana. I think they changed that this past year, maybe, that now you can use them on your arrows.
I think Wisconsin you couldn't use on your site.
Lighted site.
Yeah. So
I'll tell you, we're bumping up here on our next break, so hang on to that thought, and we'll continue the conversation.
I'm going to let the golden retriever out.
You do that.
Okay. All right, we're going to step outside. We'll be right back after this.
All right, last segment of the show, talking with Tim. Mark.
Acceleration is part of PSE's DNA. PSE pioneered the speed movement. Now they've developed the vapor category to help you find the most powerful bows on the market to fit you.
High speed equates to intense power and building the momentum you need to be successful. Are you a vapor shooter? Find out at psearchery.com.
Welcome back, last segment of the show. You guys that are on the podcast, if you want to see a golden retriever, you've got to watch the refeed of the show on
making her debut.
That's right. So
we do have a question for you, Tim.
What's that?
What is the worst / best bad habit you have given up?
Given up? I think I've gained them. I don't know if I've given any up.
Okay, well, let me ask you.
The worst habit that I have when I'm hunting, right here.
Cell phone.
Looking at my phone or texting. I've lost a big animal, but I've lost some animals because of that right there.
I think that's just natural now.
A bad habit or good habit that I stopped, you said?
Yeah.
Well, for the last month, I've been trying to eat better, lose a little bit of weight, and I've lost 8 pounds, whatever.
All right.
And I'm a chocoholic.
You think?
You
can't go wrong with that.
I'd be probably there every day. And it was tough. You wouldn't think, and I'm not like candy bars, like cookies, brownies, and that's something that I've cut back. I mean, I have it now as a treat. I tell if Karen buys them, I say hide them. And then she went shopping one day, and I was craving chocolate. I tore the kitchen apart trying to figure out where she hid them. I couldn't find them.
Well, that's one of those things. Karen seems to be looking out for you. I wish you would have been there tonight, because it would have been fun to get her side of the story of when she's, you're out doing your thing and she's doing her thing, and
Yeah, we gotta get her take on this one of these times.
Well, we'll do that sometime. She is a breath of fresh air. There's no other way to put it. She's a sweetheart. If you were to look at the pictures last year in Montana, I have a picture of her up with a buck that I killed, and her face is all red. My buddy goes, "Were you guys in somewhere warm before you went on that hunt?" And she got a sunburn. And I go, "No, it's wind."
Oh man.
And she's out there, and I have an old towel. I have a big towel, like a bath towel, in my truck, and I lay it down the ground, and she gets on the ground, take a picture of DSLR, and she's a trooper. but she will not skin it or cut it up. She draws the line.
She hasn't gone over that yet, but
That never will happen. She told me.
She will be your photographer, though.
She's my photographer. She's my everything. I mean, there's no way to put it. She is. I mean, we go on the road. Last year we drove out, left here, Western New York. I drove to St. Cloud, Minnesota for a Runnings grand opening. Did that. Went right to Montana from there. Returned back to South Dakota where I didn't shoot one with a bow, and went back again and shot the mule deer with a bow. Left there, went to Wyoming, shot a buck. Left there, went to Nebraska, and didn't shoot anything there, and came home. It was 35 or 36 days on the road. And we were talking earlier, day 30 hits. I don't care who you are, how you do it, you're tired.
You wore out.
You're just. I don't want to, as much as I love it, I wish fall was like an extra 2 months to take, so I could have, I have to spread it out.
It's a grind. It becomes that grind, especially the way you
and then,
do it.
You put a little more on it. I mean, for the TV show, I got to produce. I got a little bit of pressure from the, not from the sponsors, but they invest in us. I have to reciprocate.
Absolutely.
And so when you're saying about the bad weather like that, I got a job to do.
Yeah, it's a job,
and that's a part. You don't want to make it point so much that it takes the fun out of it. So between each hunt, I try to leave 2 days for Karen,
right?
And I'll say, "What do you want to do?" We're gonna go do whatever you want to do. And her favorite place, she loves to go to Deadwood, South Dakota. So we go there, and it's the off season, and it's nice there, and it's pretty, and it's cold. We went to Rapid City last year. Out of the blue, she goes, "Let's go to Rapid City." I want to go to downtown Rapid City. There's a historic hotel. We went and did that. I'll go to a shopping mall. I'm not a big shopper, but that girl puts up with me when I'm out and goes out and takes pictures, helps me put up a ground blind or take down a ground blind, helps me. I can stand to go shopping at wherever one of those stores are.
There you go.
Well, without giving too much away, we all three of us talked before the show, and we were kind of talking about that a little bit. Here recently that we've got somebody that wants to spend time in the outdoors with us. How much more enjoyable or easier has that made what you do, having somebody that you care about, you love, that's right there side by side, that's actually partaking?
Game changer.
Talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, it's a game. I mean, everybody tease us, like that, and I mean, we don't, we have disagreements. We don't argue. It's whatever. I'm just happy. What I used to do when I was working is I would fly out to Montana, hunt, fly back home. And I'd be on the fall, my fall vacation would work. I would work my tail off all the year. We could build up time. So I would be off 6 weeks. So I'd fly home, be home for a day or two, fly back out to wherever, fly back home, bang, bang. And I always said, when I retired, I'm going to get in that truck and I'm going to drive out west. I'm not going to come back until I'm done. And I've done it 3 years now. This year, with the not drawing the tag in Montana, I kind of cut it back a little bit. And added a trip in Wyoming in August, but the Wyoming Game and Fish didn't want me to have an antelope tag. So I'm going to be on the road right now as it stands 24 days, 25 days, which is going to be nice. But then guess what I did? Or they haven't done yet. My buddy lives in northern Manitoba, and he wants me to come muzzleloader hunt for a few days. And now the borders are going to be open, hopefully by then, and it is going to be this month, I think. Who knows where stage we're going to be in with this whole COVID pandemic. It's a lot of driving, though.
Oh yeah, that's a haul. Not gonna lie.
That's from here. I think it's 26 or 7 hours.
Wow, that's
it's a lot of driving.
It's a lot of driving.
I'm only gonna be able to hunt 4 days because I got to get to South Dakota to bow hunt. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm really leaning that I probably won't. Except the deer up there have had no pressure for a year,
right?
Except the locals hunting. So I mean, and his family owns a bunch of property there. So I'm thinking, they could be a big deer. To get that mentality going there.
It draws you there.
It's I'm addicted to it.
Right?
That and chocolate.
Well, that's what drives us. So that leads another question. Do you keep a journal?
No, I've been saying for the last 10 years I was going to just write down everything, and then. I never did.
If you did, or have you ever thought about writing a book?
Yep, I had someone approach me 2 years ago about it, and all the people in the world these days, you think everything's a sham anymore. You don't know, you can't trust the common man, unfortunately. And And it wasn't so much. It was like on my excursion. It was like on. I do basically a lot of all my stuff do it yourself, but I don't hunt privately or publicly. I hunt private.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pay what they call a trespass fee. So I kind of have it to myself. And it's one of the seminars that I do, and it's when a guy came up to me a couple of years ago. I think I was in South Dakota, at a show, and he said, "You ever thought about it?" And I go, "I have." But someone did one years ago. I saw that had almost the same thing. Plan a trip out there. If there had been no one out there, I probably would have done it because it's neat. But nowadays, I mean, who reads books anymore? You know, we're back to this. It could be a digital book, I guess.
Audiobook. Yeah. That's.
If I have like a seminar that I do into these things, it's like, what states are hot? And everybody, asks me, I want to go on an elk hunt. I want to go on a moose hunt in Ontario where you can hunt on your own, or in Quebec. And I said, keep it easy. The first one, go with an antelope, go with a deer, something you can handle on your own that you're used to hunting. And if you're going to be doing it yourself, I mean, I had one guy that was him and his buddies were young, and I give them that they were the benefit. They were all gung-ho. And I go, has anybody ever shot an elk before? I go, do you know how big elk are? They're big. So I said, there's 4 of them. I go, so now you guys are in, say, Colorado. They were going to look into Colorado elk. They're going to hike back in, or you're going to set up a camp, and yada, yada, yada. I go, so now you hike all the way up there, you're on your week vacation to hunt. And the first morning, your buddy whacks a big bull way up in the dark timber. You're done hunting. You got to help him get that animal down there and get it hanging in the trees, get it quartered and get it hanging cooling down. That's what the buddy system is. You got to have people that are going to be willing to give up their day, if not longer, to go up there, get the animal quartered, get it in bags, back down there, hang it in the trees so the bears don't get it. Now you've lost a day and a half of hunting. Are you willing to do that? Do you know how to do a quarter an animal? I didn't. My first time, I got pushed into it when I was filming for Wolf Creek Productions. We were on Outdoor America, and we were in Newfoundland on a moose hunt, and I shot a moose. And where it fell was a spot where we could just take the legs. There's 4 of us, and we flopped them on. It just went right down on the wagon. We took it back to the lodge of the tractor, and so I'm walking out there ready to watch the newfies cut up my moose. And they're all walking by. And I'm like, hey, you guys going to do it later on? And he's like, no, your buddy Mark says you guys are going to do it. And I laughed. I go, okay. And I don't know if you know Mark Millis, who's Uncle Millie's call him. And he's sitting there with his knife. And I go, what are you doing? He goes, we're going to do this. I go, have you ever done a moose before? He goes, nope. All this is a big deer, Tim. And he was right. And I did it. And we quartered it. And it was a lot of work for 2 people. You need a partner, bottom line. I mean, the hind quarter of that thing, the weighed probably like one of our deer weigh in New York here, the hind quarters there. We quartered it and then pulled the hide off. The hide was super heavy, and if you can't, I can't if I can get it on here or not. Wrong way. Which way I gotta go here? Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get seasick here. You can't really tell on the back. No, you can't really tell there. It's the wrong way. I'm over on this corner there. I have the moose hide still. I have the rug folded in half. I cut it down to size there. I kept the rug. I have the antlers too. Spent the next day boning it out. Half a day taking that hide and scraping all the fat off of it, and it turned warm. The flies were laying eggs on it, so it's a lot of work. So I would tell people that, remember that.
It's one of those things. It's like you said, you better have the buddy system and plan things out because, like you said, the size of an elk, a moose, and if you've never done it before, where are you going to be? You just can't walk to the trail, throw it on the 4-wheeler, zip it out. Yeah.
Right, and like in Colorado and probably Montana, they have wranglers you can hire to go up there and bring your animal off the mountain for you with pack horses. That's money well spent right now.
Right, I mean, exactly. So
it's like it comes down to it and all the experience. If you have a bad experience, it's going to take the fun out of it. I tell everybody, if you're first time out west, I mean, unless you're an avid bow hunter, you want to hunt. I mean, use a rifle, especially if you have to talk your wife, your girlfriend, whoever, that you're going to go out and shoot on a deer hunt. The same deer you got walking behind your house, if they're whitetail, take your rifle so you get a kill. Enjoy that. It doesn't have to be a monster. It's your first trip out west. You outsmarted him on his ground. Come home happy, then up your game a bit.
There you go. Work up to it, right?
Yep.
I tell you what,
I've done. I don't know how many trips out west. I think on my bio on Realtree's homepage, I was over 50 do-it-yourself trips out west.
So the potential is there for an audiobook or write a book, but that's what Mark wanted to know. But I tell you what, all those days spent, all those hours spent out in the woods hunting, it does look like you do get to relax a little bit down in Florida every once in a while, down at the Riviera. You got a pretty good smile on your face there, you and Karen. just it looks like in May there you were down there and you just kind of were relaxing.
We went twice this year. We went twice.
Yeah, I know you did. It's like, yeah, that's relaxing.
So fast forward to now, everything's opening up again. All these sports expos I've been booked for a bunch already for next year, which I'll see you guys in Novi at Outdoor Rama. I'm right now from the middle of January for 7 weeks. I'm gone in 5 states in 7 weeks, which is going to soon be 6 states in 7 weeks because I'm going to go to Florida to take a break between the doing thing. I'm going to be in start in Vermont, up in northern Vermont for a sports show, the Yankee Classic. I'm going to go to the New York Sportsman's Expo here in New York. From there, I go to La Crosse, Wisconsin, to Duluth, Minnesota, back to Novi, Michigan, and I'm on hold pattern right now.
There you go. So Tim's going to be a traveling fool with all these outdoor shows opening back up, and I tell you what, it'll be great to see you. You plan on going to ATA?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we'll probably see you there. But you know what? We're getting towards the end of the show, and again, it has been a great time.
Always is.
You guys come anytime. I'll be there for you.
I tell you what, we got to get together probably at ATA and we'll see what's up and we'll get together. We always do. But, again, people, get out to rushoutdoors.com. Check out the shows that he's got going on over there. The new season's going to
go to my Facebook page. It's pretty much all my hunting stuff on there. Tim Andrus. You look for the goofy mug guy right here.
Yeah, we got it up there on the screen for you that everybody can see that you're.
Friend request me, ask me questions. That's what I do. I love it.
Exactly. We do it for the passion.
Exactly.
But it's been great having you, Tim. Like I said, go visit Rush Outdoors. New season starts, I think, October, right?
October 1.
There you go. Season number 10. And you can go back on the website, check out past seasons, see what fun he has out in the woods with him and his gang over there at Rush Outdoors.
Well, I'll tell you what, for those of you on the podcast, we're going to wrap up the show here. Tim, hang on with us here after we get done. And for those of you on the podcast, don't forget, go over to iTunes. If you're listening to us on iTunes, give us a review over there. Go check out all of Tim's social media. Give him a like, follow, share. Do the same for us. Share the show as well. And we'll be back next week.
Chris
Kreiner, a coyote whacking maniac. And actually, we're going to talk a little bit about his night hunts that he does, and we're going to talk also about using a suppressor. So he's got some info for us on that. So make sure you tune in next Thursday night. So we'll be back again then. So for those of you on the podcast, that'll do it for us this week. Y'all take care.
This episode was brought to you by
PSE Archery, Yamaha Outboards, Better the Hunt, Easy Cut, Packer Max, Deer Camp Coffee, Buck Baits, JPO Game Calls, Limwalker Game Calls, Wild Seasoning, Total Peep, Sunrise Archery, Scent Lock, and Scent Blocker.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.